Hi, I hope you're doing awesome. I welcome you again in this next video. The name of the question we are solving today is bar chart of issue. Let's see what the question is. Suppose you are given an integer n, which actually corresponds to the size of an array. Suppose the size is 5 at this moment. And then you are given an array itself. Suppose the elements are 3, 1, 0, 7, 5. Okay. So corresponding to this array, we need to construct a bar chart. Okay. Okay. Let's see what a bar chart actually means. Suppose the first element here is 3. So we'll construct a bar which is actually of height equal to 3. Now the second element here is 1. So we'll construct a bar here at 1. Then it is 0. So we'll leave it blank. For a bar of height 7, we'll draw 7 stars here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And for the last, we have 5 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So this is the figure we need to return. Okay, so there are a few parameters related to this figure we need to take into account. That is, how are we going to decide that what should be the length of the figure? Because we have to start it from the top. We can't start it from the bottom, right? Because in Java we print here in this fashion. Then this line will be printed, then this line will be printed. So in order to start from the top, we need to know that what is the maximum height of the figure, right? So if we look carefully, the maximum height of the figure is going to be equivalent to the maximum bar in the bar chart, right? The maximum bar is actually the maximum element from the array, that is 7. So we know how we actually calculate the height of the figure, which will also be corresponding to the number of rows if we visualize it as a matrix, right? Number of rows of a matrix. Okay. And for the number of columns, we know that it is fairly simple. The number of bars we have, that is the size of the array. That is actually equivalent to the number of columns, right? So let's see how are we actually gonna code it. Suppose if I visualize it as something like buildings, right? And I am on the 7th floor. Here is the 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st floor, right? Okay, if I am on the 7th floor, I'll ask every building that is your height greater than or equal to 7. Suppose I'll ask this first building, it will say no, my height is not equal to or greater than 7. So I'll leave a space. I won't be doing anything here. For the second building also, I'll leave a space. For the third building also, I'll leave a space. For the fourth building, I'll ask that if is your height greater than or equal to 7. Yes, it's equal to 7. So I'll draw a floor here. Suppose I'm just terminology is different here if I'm taking the big building example, right? So I'll build a floor here. For the last one, the height is 5, so it's not greater than or equal to 7, so I'll leave a blank. For the next iteration, I'll again ask. Now I'm on the 6th floor. Is your height greater than or equal to 6? No, it's not, so I'll leave a blank. Is your height greater than or equal to 6? Blank, blank. Now the height is 7. Is your height is greater than or equal to 6? Yes, 7 is greater than 6. So I'll build a floor here and I'll draw a star. For the next building also I'll leave a blank, and same goes here. And this one will say yes, my height 7 is greater than or equal to 5. And this time this next building will also say yes, my height is also greater than or equal to 5. So I'll build a floor here also. So I hope you are getting a grasp over here, right? And as we code it through, we'll also dry run the program. We'll be getting a better understanding of what's what. Let's see. Scanner is the n is the equals to. So if it's coming as a little overwhelming at this moment, I'll dry run the program. Don't worry about that. Int n, that is actually corresponding to how many bars are to be constructed, right? The array, the size of the array. Scn is equals to new, sorry, scn dot next int. Okay, now the array, let's call it bars instead. New int n. Okay, let's take the input for and I equals to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus bars of I is equals to scanner dot next int. Okay, so we have the heights ready, heights of bars ready. In order to construct it, I need to find the max of the array, right? So I'll initialize the max as bars of 0. We have already found out max and minimum in the question called span of the array. So if you haven't watched that question, you can watch it to find the maximum and minimum. But it's fairly simple code. Let's see here. Bars of 0. I have initialized it to bars of 0. And I'll loop through the array, and I in bars. If what happens is, if my current height, that is I, becomes greater than the current maximum, then I'll change the maximum to the current height. Max equals to I. And while this loop is exhausting, I'll be updating my max again and again as I find a larger and larger value. And while the loop is exhausted, I'll have my max set right to the maximum height of the bar. Now let's try to build the logic here for int. Suppose this is floor. For floor is equals to max. Floor is greater than 0 and floor minus minus for, okay, sorry, for building is equals to 0, building is less than n, and building plus plus. I'll ask every building that if bars of b is greater than or equal to the floor I'm currently at. If that's the case, then I'll be printing star here slash t. And if that's not the case, then I'll be printing a space here, that is slash t. Okay, I hope it should work. And when I'm done for asking for one complete floor, also I need to move to the next line. Yes, I think it should be working fine if I haven't made a typo, of course. And I have made a typo. Okay, so let's see what's wrong here. Yeah, it should not be print ln, it should be print. Let's see if it runs this time. Yes, it's getting accepted, right? See, our bars are getting constructed. Let's try to submit it this time. Yeah, it's getting submitted. So I hope you understood the topic. Now let's try to try run the program, right? Let's try to try. Okay, showed. Yep. This should be enough. Let's see. We'll go through each line and understand what's happening here. This was actually for the size, that is number of bars, right? Number of bars slash buildings. Now, this is the array I have declared, which will actually storing the height of the bars or the height of the buildings. Now, for this array, I have taken the input that what should be the height of a particular building. So it will run through the loop from I to n, and it will take the input and fill it into the array. So after this statement, my heights of the bars or the heights of the buildings are ready. So I have taken the input, and the input part is now over. Now I need max of the bars, right? Maximum of the height of the building. Why is that? Because if I am constructing a bar graph, I need to tell what is the maximum height of the bar chart, right? And that will be actually corresponding to the biggest or the tallest bar. So I have taken the max here. Now for int I in bars, that is for every height of bar, if the current height is greater than the current maximum, which is actually set to bars of 0, then I'll update my max to the current bar, right? So in that case, I'll keep checking max again and again, and if the current element is greater than max, I'll update it. Now this here are the two for loops. For every floor here, for every floor I'll go one by one, and I'll ask every building that if the height of the building, if bars of b, if the height of the building is greater than or equal to the current floor I'm at. And if it is, then I'll be building a floor that is printing a star. And if it's not, then I'll printing a T. It's actually not space, it's slash T is actually corresponding to tabs, that is multiple spaces, that actually depends on the configuration of computer. So it's you can skip it for now and you can treat it as space only. And after I have asked one complete set of building for a particular floor, I'll move to the next line. Right. So I hope the code was very easy. Just you need to grasp it once and you'll be ready. So I hope you liked the explanation. And if you did, kindly press that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.